We have an opportunity now, before we begin the church part of the service, to listen to some tributes from family and friends and to hear the eulogy.
Thank you. Before I continue reading the obituary, I'll rightfully introduce myself. I'm Bilundlo Choeu. I'm going to be reading the obituary of Choeu Kenilworth Andrew Choeu. Birth and early life. Choeu Kenilworth Andrew Choeu, popularly known as Chosman or Choseka Choeu, was born in Bloemfontein on the 31st of May, 1957. He was the firstborn child of Mr. Simeon and Mrs. Gelly Choeu. He was a very lovable and intelligent child, loved by his grandparents. Choeu's grandparents had a butchery, but Choeu, being Choeu, wanted to be independent. He sold newspapers, and with the money he earned, he would provide for his brothers and sisters as well. He loved family deeply, and when around his family members, he would always want to go down memory lane and talk about the good old days. He would play music and sing along. Oh boy, could he sing. He was blessed with a wonderful voice, beautiful smile, loved fun, and would always say, have fun. Choeu had a big heart and wanted to see his family members developing and excelling in life. This was one of his best qualities, making a difference in other people's lives. He shared whatever that he knew or learned to make a difference in other people's lives, and this will sorely miss. He excelled in his primary and secondary education. His ability to impart and share knowledge was demonstrated whilst in high school. He tutored other learners, and this was noted by his teachers. When he completed his matric, one of the teachers asked him to go and become a teacher in Kuruman. He excelled as a teacher, even though he was not formally trained. This he demonstrated by how he became popular to his students from Albert Moroka High, and his ultimate pride, where he was the principal of RT Mokopa. We'll now be proceeding talking about his academia. He furthered his studies locally and abroad from the University of PE, amongst his many qualifications and certifications that he holds. He continued to study post-retirement, and through the COVID-19 lockdown, he obtained multiple online certificates. As we now move to his professional life, in 1994, with the start of the new dispensation, Choeu joined the Democratic Parliament of the new government of South Africa. He served in the Secretariat of the National Council of Provinces at a critical time when the foundations of democracy were being established. Choeu served with distinction in several areas of the public sector. He spent a considerable time as a government affairs executive at Telkom. From Telkom, Choeu worked for Microsoft South Africa, again excelling as a professional who enabled government and private sector giants to find each other in the difficult terrain of economic development and public policy. Policy and business acumen defined Choeu's professional genius. He moved from Microsoft to one of the oldest state-owned companies. He joined Eskom. His influence at Eskom continues to reverberate through its corridors. The business and professional organizations that he was part of are represented here to bear witness and speak of his great contribution to our country. I'm now going to talk about his family. He was a loving husband to his wife, Moleboheng Choeu, a loving and devoted father to his children. Choeu was more than a niece to him. She held the status of a daughter. He dearly loved his siblings, Mojaki, Linkwe, and Muli. He was an uncle to his nieces and nephews and a proud grandfather of 5, a man who gave all to his family.
Thank you, Reverend, and thank you to the Master of Ceremonies. I'm Sasi Tekisho, born and bred in Tabanchu. One of those places where Cheu's man worked as a teacher. But to capture who Choeu was and what Choeu became, I just want to tell you a short story of his childhood. When he was in high school, he and his local friends then felt a bit lonely, I guess, and left out. So they decided to form a soccer club. Now, Choeu being what he is, imbued with confidence and character, just about managed, as they were planning, that he is going to be their goalkeeper. Naturally, they consulted with some of the adults who were sponsoring them with a few rands now and then. Needless to say, some 5 matches later, Choeu had learned very quickly that the opposition was rather too efficient, and they were scoring all the goals they attempted against him. Being Choeu, he realized that it looks like I'm the weakest link in this club. He then negotiated with the guys and the adults who were there to give them some guidance that, now you know what, I think I will do well as the secretary of the club. And thus started Choeu's leadership role in life. Needless to say, when he got onto this position, he started by correcting all what had happened before. He decided, naturally rearranged the club a bit according to his thinking, but then also contacted some of the weaker clubs to play with. 5 matches later, they were the celebrants in the township. Then, the boys having gained confidence, he made sure that now they can go for the stronger clubs. Well, won quite a few, lost quite a few, but at least they were not in an embarrassing position that they started with. Second little short story. Recently, last year in November, I invited him to go with me to my in-laws' place in Pretoria. We spent the day there, and on our way back, he says to me, "Hey man, Dave, I think you should take 1 week leave, minimum. We need to go and travel around Kuruman, which is where I started teaching, as it is explained, long before he was trained. But Choeu being Choeu, managed to make a mark For some reason, it looks like at that time there was a course run, I think, by the University of Bophuthatswana, which put some teaching material together to enable them to excel. Now, one of his friends in Kuruman, and a homeboy of his, of course, is a guy called Pila, who he started teaching with. Pila has now retired, and he was the principal of the particular school where the two of them started. Now, a lot has been said in the social media about Choeu's character. It's captured well in this obituary. The question is, what made this tower? Choeu's aim in life was to strengthen each and every person who ever graced his life. Indeed, he would get very, very angry if he gives you an advice and you don't seem to take it serious. But instead of fighting with you, he would actually go and buy you a book on the particular subject that he is trying to advise you on, so that you should realize it's not only his idea, it comes from somewhere, well-researched idea that needs to be implemented for you to see your way through. He depended on others, and he wanted everybody to depend on him too. He was a man who believed in holding hands, guiding people. He was 8 years younger than me. We just gravitated towards each other and became friends, particularly when he came from the US. And now and then we would sit together and talk about what is it that we can do. One of the things that we then decided to do was to make sure that we get the Tabanchu community to establish some kind of a bursary that was going to be perhaps benefit some of the kids who were doing well at school. Well, we did all what we could with four other friends, donated 50 rand every month and kept it in the bank, tried to invite the community, staged all sorts of competitions, including the beauty pageants, to try and raise funds and communicate to the community what our intentions were. I am sorry to disappoint you and tell you that now we could only, at the end, assist 5 students with registration fee to get to various universities. Some of them, now and then when they are back home, still come and say, had it not been for you guys, I would not be where I am.
Wow, beautiful, Dr. Kisho. You lived such a full life. You could spend all day telling
Ladies and gentlemen, you lost a tower that you all know.
Yes.
I can tell you that my life is empty. But with you around, I know we'll hold hands and we'll pull through this one too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The best brother I could have asked and hoped for and never had to. I went to him for everything from the time I was born until the day he died. I wanted to make him laugh, tell him what was happening in my life, and seek advice, but he's now gone. When I was little and I got hurt, I went to him for comfort and for everything. My brother, you left an indelible mark in my mind, and I know in friends and colleagues. Rest in peace, my beloved brother. Till we meet again. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I am Rufilwe. I am by the request of my auntie, I've been asked to deliver these words that she has said on behalf of her siblings. Papa, you never said goodbye. You never said I'm leaving. You were gone before we knew it, and only God knew why. A million times we cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life, we loved you dearly. In death, we love you still. No one can ever fill your place in our hearts. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for part of us went with you. We will miss you more than words can say, and always think of you. Robala ka kagiso, Motaung.
I will miss your beautiful voice. You would sing with confidence and a smile on your face. I will always remember how you sang the song Prayer. You charmed me with it when we first met. It will remind me of you always. I will miss our quiet moments, how we respected each other's space. Those moments centered us. I will miss the charming, handsome gentleman that you were. Very stylish, and the smile when I complimented you or when other people did on how well dressed you were. Love, thank you for encouraging me to do a life coaching course in December of 2020. It is as if you knew that I would need those skills I learned to be able to deal with your sudden departure. Love, it is sad and painful to say goodbye. You have lived your life to the fullest. I am glad I was a part of it. Go and rest. I will, with time, learn to accept that you are not in my life anymore. One day we will be together again. Robala ka kgotso Motaung. Using your words, have fun.
to let